Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Afternoons on the Dove. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. Today is Friday. We have Tim Elbert in the house, better known as the Timinator from the Four Seasons Nursery. And I tell you what, the weather just doesn't get any prettier than it is right now. I love the fall. I love the cool nights and the warm days and the fall colors. And right now we're already at about 60 degrees outside, so it's a nice day. If you got any questions about maybe what you should be doing in the yard this weekend, and by the way, I'll just take a quick look at the forecast. Guess what? 79 today, 78 tomorrow, 75 on Sunday. So it's going to be a great weekend to be outdoors, working in the yard, doing some fall things. If you have any questions about it and what you should be doing in the yard, give us a call, 776-5368. If you're watching on the Dove TV or if you're listening on the Dove Radio, 776-5368. And everybody that calls in, your name's going in the hat for this beautiful mum that Tim has brought into the studio today.
Yes, this is a florist variety of mum, and it is a beautiful one to put on the table, the entryway in the house. It is actually grown to bloom indoors for you, and it's a very nice plant. And
I love the color.
Fun fall color, isn't it? This is great. So
it's got kind of a yellow with a rust maroon type.
Yeah, kind of a I don't know, burgundy. Looks like a blood orange color.
All right, the phone number is 776-5368. If you have any questions about what you should be doing in the yard, watering, fertilizing, transplanting, bugging, what's the other one we do? Dormant spray this time of the year, trimming, cutting back. Maybe it's harvest time in your yard. That would be nice. And maybe you got some things you're picking there. So the phone number, 776-5368, and your name will go in the hat. And coming up towards the end of the program, we're going to call or pull one name out, call you, it could be yours, and you'll win this mum. So, Tim.
Yes.
I noticed that the trees aren't bouncing back that had the worm web or the web worm or whatever that nasty thing was.
Well, don't expect a whole lot of growth out of them right now, of course, because they're all going dormant. Okay. So, yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot of that happening. The leaves should fall, except for the ones that get tangled up in the spider webs or webworm webs or whatever. Yeah. But that's going to hang out. But the leaves should turn color, fall, and then in the spring that fresh new growth should come out. You may see some damage of the stems, so there may be some parts of them that die back, and you may have to do a little pruning. But wait until spring on that, until you know exactly where it's dead and where it's not. So you can
some of the webbing is coming off, but it's still pretty sticky.
Yeah, it's a good chance it's not going to come off for quite a while. So we need some good frost and wind and rain and et cetera. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what I did? I went up and I pulled back a branch to see if it was dead. And it wasn't. It was kind of, a little green in there. So I thought, well, maybe there's hope here.
There's hope. There's definitely hope.
All right. Phone number 776-5368. Love to take your call about anything that's going on in the yard. Tim's here from the Four Seasons Nursery. That's out on Highway 62. You get off on Vilas Road. You hop over to the frontage road, go up about a half mile, and you can't miss it. The beautiful hanging baskets are still there.
Yes, they are.
And they are gorgeous. All right. Cheryl, hi. Or Sherry, hi. What's up?
Hi, I have a question about my rose bushes. I think my husband's ruined them.
Okay, we'll blame him.
Well, you know what's happening is all of our rose bushes, and these are ones that have been really nice before they've had a nice bush shape. Okay. They're getting really tall and spindly, and I'm getting blossoms that come out on these spindly little limbs, but they're turning into ugly, ugly bushes. So is that a pruning issue?
Yeah, pretty much just a pruning thing. Take advantage of those last season blooms. We've only got a few weeks left before those are going to be done. Once we get our first real heavy killing frost, you're going to probably not see much left as far as new development of flowers on those roses. So take advantage of them now and enjoy them. And then right around Thanksgiving, you'll want to do that first cut back and just prune them in half. That's what I like to do. Just kind of cut them in half, shear them back, and clean them up, and they'll be just fine.
Okay, so then when they come back, if I do that, just take them half down to about their height, is what you're saying, of where they're at?
Yeah.
And then next year they should get bushy again instead of just spindly little wiry things coming out.
Yeah. Now this will be your first pruning. Your second pruning would be in February when you're going to prune them back to about a foot to 18 inches off the ground. And at that point, yes, when they come back in the spring, they will come back and be nice and bushy for you.
Okay, so halfway around Thanksgiving, February, about a foot to a foot and a half off the ground.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You know, Sherry, that's a perfect job for your hubby to go out there and go zip.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
All right,
You're
see
welcome.
you later. All right, 776-5368 if you have any questions for Tim and what's going on in your yard. And that's a great question as we head into the fall, pruning and things like that. So maybe you have some questions along that line or fertilizing. And your name's going to go on that. Somebody's going to win this beautiful mum coming up here a little bit. So 776-5368, whether you're watching on the Dove TV right now or if you're listening on the Dove radio, we can patch you in. 776-5368. What else should we be pruning?
Well,
anything now? Or?
You know, it's getting really close. You know, a lot of the summer perennials are finishing up, and they could be pruned and cleaned up now. If you're wanting to prune any of your shade trees or flowering trees, you can do that now. Even though they haven't dropped their leaves, they are kind of drawing in, and pruning's not going to hurt them whatsoever. So, so if you've got some things you want to shape up and clean up a little bit and get that done before the leaves fall for easier cleanup when the leaves come down, you can do that now.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go to the lawn for a moment. I noticed everything that died is now turning green again.
Yeah.
Eventually it comes back.
It's amazing, isn't it?
We haven't had any frost yet, so can we put some seed down?
Absolutely. Perfect timing. This kind of weather is perfect for lawn seed. So if you got some thin areas or bare patches, some extra
Just throw
seed
it on
down.
the ground, or should you rake it in?
You want to kind of scratch it up first
Yeah.
and get that soil kind of worked up just lightly, the top half inch or so, and then just scatter that seed down, and then you can kind of pack it in or just water it, and it should take care of it.
What about fertilizer?
Fertilizing, you can use the classic right now, and we do recommend also that soil activator. And that's going to help, any grass that's been left over from the lawnmower that didn't pick up. It'll kind of help break that down, and it'll help that lawn go through winter a lot easier.
All right, so if you got a question, 776-5368, give us a call, and whatever you may want to know about gardening this time of the year, and then your name will go in the hat for these beautiful mums, which is just some of the color that you have out there at the nursery, right?
Yep, yeah, this is just some of it. Goodness, the pansies right now are going crazy, and of course you'll have to give us a call and ask us about it, but they are on sale.
Why can't you say it?
Well, the pansies are on sale.
Oh.
You'll have to call and ask for details.
Just go out to the nursery and take a look. A lot of color out there, and these mums, you got more different colors out there?
Absolutely, yeah. There's several mums out there. There's some kale, and the mums and kale have been going really fast. So you want to catch that soon. We get it in every week. And pansies, there's several hundred flats of pansies left, but goodness, we just sold 30 flats to one person this morning, so they are going very quickly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay, and they are great because they will go through the winter.
All
the cold.
winter long, yeah.
Yeah, and how long will these mums bloom?
Now, these mums are probably going to bloom for about another 4 to 5 weeks.
All right.
Yeah.
Kathy, hi. What's on your mind today?
Oh, good morning, or afternoon, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a number of plants that I want to be able to bring indoors before they get frozen.
Okay.
And obviously we're not real close right now to a killing frost. But, I mean, I've got an aloe and a begonia and things like that.
Sure.
What advice do you have for successfully bringing them indoors where I'm not going to bring any bugs in to infect my other plants? And when is the good time? How long can I leave them outside before we get close to freezing and stuff?
Okay, excellent question. Really watch that the temperatures. If we're going to drop down into the low 40s, high 30s, then I would be kind of concerned. Aloes and begonias, they'll handle the upper 30s, even the mid 30s, okay. But there's damage that's done even before we get a frost on those, and so you will want to bring them in when the temperatures drop down, and there's a chance that we're going to get into the mid 30s. It would be a good idea to bring them in before that.
Oh, good.
Now,
Good.
when you bring them in, it's a good idea to put them into the garage or a spare bedroom or something away from the other plants for a few days and see what happens. Obviously, you want to check them very thoroughly, make sure there's no insects or disease problems before you bring them in. But give them 2 or 3 days indoors, away from everything else, isolated, so that you can see if anything breaks out. And that's always a good thing to do before you introduce them into the areas where the rest of your houseplants are.
Oh, good. I hadn't thought of that. Now, I do have some spray for house plants, for indoor insect kind of stuff. Would it be wise to give them a quick spritz with something like that?
I don't like to use insecticides unless there's a real problem. So I would just wait after they've been in the house, 2-3 days, and you don't see any real issues with them. Go ahead and introduce them to the rest of the plants, and it should be fine. If you start to see an outbreak, then quarantine it again and try to get rid of it. But I would say I don't like to use those things unless there really is a problem. They're not going to do any good if there's nothing there, and it's just it's a waste of time, money, and it's not always that great environmentally. So
yeah, I like to go with what's safe for the environment. But anyway, and I also have a poinsettia that was gorgeous last Christmas time, and I summered it over outside, and it's lush with growth, and even if I just enjoy it for the greenery, and it's, you have to keep it in the dark, I understand, for a good while in order for it to bring back the red bracts. But do you have any suggestions on bringing that back indoors? Is the same kind of idea, or? Yeah,
and be really, really careful with those, because the things like whitefly and scale, can hitchhike on those really easily. They love them. So definitely, we'll look that one over really good before you bring it back inside.
And maybe even keep it away from everything else. Like, I've got 2 extra bedrooms. I could put it in a place all by itself.
There you go.
Okay,
and
turn your house into a greenhouse.
Yeah. Now, I understand you have to keep it in the dark for a while and all that. Do you have to cut back on water and all that sort of thing in order for it to maybe hopefully turn red again?
Well, somewhat. Now, the key with those is that you need to have even days and nights consecutively. So it's 12 hours of darkness and 12 hours of light, and then 12 hours of darkness and 12 hours of light, and that cannot be interrupted. So if you interrupt that, if you get 3 weeks into this and somebody opens up the closet door that they shouldn't have, you got to start all over.
Whoa!
Well, I had one do that for me one year when I lived in another state, and we had just set the thing in the back porch and kind of forgot it. And then one day I discovered, oh my gosh, it's developing all this red color, and I didn't do anything to the poor thing. Just put it in the back porch.
Good. Well, I have to say one thing, Kathy. You're the first person I ever heard that's been able to hold a poinsettia over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They normally just keel over. Don't they just die?
No, they don't.
Well,
they're not supposed to.
They do at our house.
Well, it's looking nice and lush with greenery.
Good. Congratulations. All right,
Thank
see you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, 776-5368. Everybody that calls in, your name's going to have. There's a beautiful mum here in front of Tim, and somebody's going to win that today. So if you have any questions about what you should be doing in the way of yard, gardening, or indoor plants, we're moving indoors, and you put in a whole new indoor section.
Yes.
I want to talk about that coming up in just a few moments. So if you have any questions, join us, 776-5368. Whether you're watching on the Dove TV right now or you're listening on the Dove Radio, we can put you through to Tim, 776-5368. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and take some more phone calls.
Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove. Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove.
Well, it's a beautiful fall day, and we're going into a gorgeous fall weekend with the warm days and the cool nights and lots of sunshine, as you just heard Steve say, in the forecast for the next couple of days. So pretty nice time to be outside working, and the leaves are coming down and the trees are turning. It's just gorgeous. And in front of us here, Tim has brought in a beautiful mum, and somebody's going to win that coming up in a few moments. And so if you call in, your name's going in the hat. We'll do a little drawing at the end, and you could win that. 776-5368. If you have any questions about what you should be doing in the yard. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, Kim. What's going on?
Well, hi there. I have potted dahlias, and I know that they're sensitive to the cold. Should I just leave them in the pot and put them under cover? Is outside cover okay? Is like a garden shed okay? Do they need to be like in a garage? Or do I unplant them and put them into a paper bag. What do I do?
You know, the dahlias are pretty tough. Now, the tops are going to freeze down anyways, and that's fine.
Right.
We'll let that happen. And once that's happened, the key is going to be not necessarily trying to keep them warm as much as we want to keep them somewhat dry. And so putting them up kind of under the eaves of the house or somewhere where they're going to be kept a little bit more dry, then that will help out a lot. The soil around them should help to insulate them some. But if it looks like we're going to get really cold, and by really cold I mean down in the low 20s or even into the teens, then at that point you may want to consider throwing them in the garden shed or the garage for a couple of nights until that weather warms back up a little bit.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right. Thanks.
Alrighty.
All right, thanks, Kim. 776-5368 if you want to talk to Tim Elbert from the Four Seasons Nursery, and he's here to take your calls. And Judy, what's going on with your African violets?
I have some little insects around them that are like fruit flies, and I washed all the leaves off, and I put gravel on the soil, thinking that there were some kind of little insects in there. And now they're not so many, but they're still around. What can I do about that?
Okay, those are probably fungus gnats, and they look kind of like fruit flies, like you say, and they actually they're nymphs, the larvae, the young ones actually live in the soil, and they feed on decaying organic material in the soil, fungus in the soil, and so that's kind of where they're coming from, and it's usually a sign that you're keeping them a little bit too wet. So if you can kind of let them dry out a little bit more between waterings, you'll have less problem with those. To control the ones that are there, it's pretty simple to use, like a little sticky trap, and basically it's a piece of yellow cardboard with a sticky substance on it, and you just kind of put that close by, and they fly up and they get stuck to that, and it works very good. Trying to control them with insecticides is nearly impossible, so we usually don't go that direction.
Okay.
But try drying the soil some. The gravel on top of the soil, very good move for you on that part. But just keep it a little drier.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
All right,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. All right, 776-5368 if you have any questions for Tim here from the Four Seasons Nursery. They're open from 9 to 5 still?
We're open 9 to 5 every day through October, and then starting in November, we will still be open 9 to 5, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But we'll be closed on Sundays.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think your pastor would like to see you again.
I'm filling out the new.
Are you filling out the visitor's card at your own church?
Yeah, the visitor card. Yeah.
All right, 776-5368. If you have any questions, your name's going to go in the hat, and somebody coming up after the next break could win this beautiful mom. Boy, they are just gorgeous, and I like them when they get real nice and full. And this one's still got a lot of blooms yet to come out on it. So,
yes.
776-5368 if you have any questions for Tim. All right, you put it in a house section. You didn't have it for a while, house plant section.
Right.
Now you got one back out at the nursery.
Yes.
I know a lot of people are really into that.
Yeah, houseplants are great because they not only make a nice atmosphere for you in the house, but they clean the air. And especially in the wintertime when we're stuck inside a lot more than we like to be, houseplants can help clean dust particles and allergens out of the air and make for a much nicer breathing environment, so to speak.
So what kind of plants do you have?
Well, goodness, lots. There's a lot of choices for buying house plants. So you can go into a lot of the big stores and get the regular old house plants, and we do carry a few of those different types of things, but we're kind of trying to specialize in some things that perhaps you don't see just everywhere. So we do have some really different plants. We have a mahogany tree, and really cool, and we have a coffee tree in there.
Steve, coffee tree.
Grow your own. Yes.
Does it smell like coffee or what?
No, it actually will produce coffee beans when it matures.
Real coffee beans.
Real coffee beans. Yeah. Some
You
of these
wonder why coffee's $40 a pound?
Some of them can be a little bit more challenging to grow, but that's what we are around for, is to make sure that you're going to have success with those houseplants. And also with that, if you've got houseplants at home you're having trouble with and you want to know what's going on with them and how to make them work better, grow better and look nicer, bring samples in, talk to us about it. We are now your houseplant experts.
All right,
so,
there you go.
Yes.
All right, Tim's here from the Four Seasons Nursery, and we'd love to help you with any question you may have, 776-5368. So if you're watching on the Dove TV, we can patch you in. If you're listening on the Dove Radio, we can patch you in, and somebody's going to win this beautiful mum plant coming up. So get your name in the drawing, 776-5368. What should we be planting this time of the year? Anything?
Well, trees right now are a big popular item for planting in the yards, and, getting them in before the leaves fall so you have something to rake.
Whoopee. Yeah. We'll let them fall at your place, then we'll put them in.
No, but choosing fall colors is kind of nice. You can get in and take a look at the way some of them color and the timing for that. And so it's a real popular time for that. Also, the soil's a little easier to dig right now. So digging a big hole to plant a tree is much easier right now. So that's been a real good one. We've got some beautiful maples out there right now. The one brand new one called Red Point was brand new last year, and we have some more this year, and they are a beautiful, beautiful red color on them for wintertime, fall.
So transplanting is not going to hurt them?
Not going to hurt them a bit.
You put anything in the hole and you dig it? Do you put any fertilizer down there?
We like to put some mulch in. We use the Gardner and Bloom soil building compost. Mix that about half and half with your native soil, and put that back in there. That mulch is going to make for better root development, gives it more of an area for moisture and nutrients to attach. And then a little starter fertilizer and some root stimulator, and away you go.
All right, 776-5368. Love to take your calls today. Hi, Larry. What's going on with your lilac bush?
Well, I have to move it because we're moving an old trailer, and I'm just wondering if it's going to survive.
Absolutely, it'll survive. Lilacs are tough as nails. Yeah, so you should be able to get by with digging it and moving it now, but if you do that, you may want to prune it. And I usually say don't prune the lilacs right now because of the fact that they've already they're already building those flower buds for next year. But in this situation where you have to dig in and move it, if you're going to need to cut into a lot of roots, then it might not be a bad idea just to cut it down halfway or even 3/4 of the way and dig it, replant it, and they just expect no blooms for this year.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
All right. Thank you. 776-5368. If you have any questions for Tim Elbert here from the Four Seasons Nursery. Got the lavenders. He ended up being huge.
Yes.
You can't break those up.
No. They all come from a central root system, so you really can't divide a lavender. Yeah.
All right. Bulbs?
Bulbs you can divide, yeah.
What are we doing with bulbs?
Bulbs, well...
Planting them now?
Yes.
Or is it too late?
No, October is a great time for planting bulbs. Things like daffodils and tulips. If it's a spring flowering bulb, then you would want to plant it now. If it's a summer blooming one, then you plant those, of course, in the spring. But tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, those things can all go in now.
And how far down?
I like to go about.
Don't you have a little rule of thumb you use?
Yeah. Usually about 3 times the size of the bulb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you've got a 2-inch tall bulb, then you want to put it about 6 inches deep. If it's a 1-inch tall bulb, about 3 inches deep. So that's that's my rule of thumb.
So soil freezing doesn't bother those, huh?
No. In fact, they need to have that cold weather to get them to break that dormancy. So yeah.
All right, 776-5368. If you have any questions for Tim about what's going on in the yard, and give us a call. What about spraying? Should we be? I know we can get on the dormant spray, but are any bugs out there we're spraying for now, or are we just letting things take its course?
And pretty much at this point, it's let things just take their course. Most of the insects are going to kind of go dormant over winter, and they're not going to be feeding nearly as heavily. So we can kind of let things go at this point, especially if it's a deciduous plant. If it's something that's evergreen, then yeah, you might want to do a little spraying to control whatever might be on there, because they're going to just be worse in the spring. So anything that's evergreen, if you've got an insect problem, get good control of it now. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But definitely dormant sprays. Perfect weather and perfect timing to get out there and get those dormant sprays on your fruit trees.
Okay, now pears are still being harvested.
Yeah, so of course you want to wait until you're done harvesting. But if you're once you're finished harvesting, it's perfect timing.
All right. We'll squeeze in one more call before the break. Hi, Jim. You want to know how low you can prune pampas grass?
Yeah, it's about 6 to 7 feet. Some of them are 8 feet tall, but I don't want to kill them. But I'd like to get them kind of waned back a little bit.
Okay, well, you can actually cut them back quite far, 2 feet off the ground even.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
It won't thin them out or nothing. They'll come back just as good, huh?
Oh, yeah, usually they just come back in force. You won't even know by next summer. You won't even know you ever pruned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
There you go. Go for it, man.
Have fun, because, boy, that's not a fun task. I feel for you.
Yeah. Maybe it's time for the chainsaw.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't like using a chainsaw because those leaves tend to get stuck in the chains and stuff, and that can be kind of messy. So if you're going to do that, be really careful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Okay.
I just know it's going to take a while.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
All righty.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. But if you have any call or any questions, give us a call. The number is 776-5368, and about what's going on in the yard. It's a beautiful weekend, so chances are you're going to be out working around in the yard anyway. Besides raking leaves, you may want to do something else. And your name will go on the hat. Somebody's going to win this beautiful mum that Tim has brought in here. We're going to give that away coming up right after this next break. So it could be you. 776-5368. We'll be right back.
Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove. Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove.
Well, it is beautiful out there. I love the fall. I love the fall colors, the warm days, the cool nights. I love harvest time. I guess that's the old farm boy coming out in me. You know, we'd be harvesting all kinds of things this time of year, you know.
Yeah.
And you got the grapes being harvested here. Well, maybe in the next couple of weeks for the grapes. Some of the pears are being harvested now. The pumpkin patch down the road here was just loaded. They harvest those off, taking them off. So anyway, if you have any questions, then the phone number is 776-5368, and your name will go in the hat for this beautiful mum that we're going to give away. All right, Lisa, let's go to you. What's going on with your rhododendrons?
Well, this summer I got some real brown spots on the leaves, and I thought maybe it was just sunburned. But now the leaves, not all of them, but some of them, they're kind of turning yellow, mottled, and sometimes they have brown spots. I'm wondering if it's a fungus or aphids or bugs, or if you can tell over the phone.
I see they are. No, they generally, when we see the black spots on the foliage, it's usually caused by sun damage, like you said. And now, is it the center of the leaf, or is it more towards the edge of the leaf? Are they round spots or irregular shaped?
They're kind of oblong, and they're towards the center usually, but the ones that are, I don't know, the ones that are yellow and green kind of mottled, and it's all over.
Okay. On those mottled leaves, are they on the newer leaves at the tips of the branch, or is it the older leaves down low inside the plant?
I'd say primarily the older leaves.
Okay. What you're probably seeing is a combination. Those oblong looking dark patches are probably damaged from sun. So we can pretty much say that's what that is.
Okay.
Those older leaves that are yellowing and turning kind of a mottled color that are down in that lower part of the branch, that's probably just a natural shedding that the plant is going through. So I wouldn't worry about that at all.
You don't?
Yeah. If you're really worried, you can bring me a sample, but chances are it's not anything to worry about.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
thanks, Lisa. All right, 776-5368 is the number to talk to Tim. We have a few moments left. Your name will go in the hat. Somebody's going to win this beautiful mum here. I love the color. Yellow and kind of a burnt, rusty maroon in the middle. All right. Deborah's got an indoor plant question. Hi, Deborah.
Hi. I do have an indoor plant question. Where we live, we're surrounded by a lot of trees, so we don't get a lot of sunlight that comes into the windows.
Sure.
And I keep the temperature pretty low, in the winter, like in the mid 60 range, and sometimes a little bit more than that for my husband's comfort. But so what would be a good indoor plant under those conditions?
Oh, that would be a perfect condition for some of the corn plants.
Corn?
Corn, yeah. No, I don't mean go out and dig up the corn out of the yard and plant it in the house. The ornamental corns, they are types of Dracaena. And Dracaena it comes in a myriad of different types of shapes and colors, from thick leaves to thin leaves. If you go to our website, we've actually got a little video on those types of plants, and you can go to the website. It's fourseasonsnurseryonline.com.
Okay.
And just click on that little video. I'm doing a little video on those plants, and so you'll see all different varieties of them.
Is it spelled C-O-R-N or K-O-R-N or?
It's ornamental corn, C-O-R-N,
okay.
Or Dracaena, which is D-R-A-C-A-E-N-A or something like that. I don't know.
Ornamental corn?
Ornamental corn,
okay,
yeah,
I'll go
or
with that one.
something that starts with a D.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
You're
you
welcome.
carry that, right? You said.
Yeah, there's you'll get to see what our new houseplant section looks like and some of the varieties that we're carrying that are in stock right now.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Deborah. All right, long name, amazing video.
Yes.
How's that? Okay, so it's fourseasonsnurseryonline.com.
Yes.
Boy,
Yeah,
that is
big
a long
name, big guy.
All right, big name. fourseasonsnurseryonline.com. Check out the video. Well, that's cool. Corn.
Yes, ornamental corn.
Wow. And do you grow those from seed or what?
No, actually, they're grown. It's kind of interesting. They're grown in Hawaii and Florida mainly. But what they do is they get these big greenhouses, and then they plant these just in the ground inside these greenhouses. And as they grow up, they just chop a section off with a machete and shove it in the dirt. And as soon as it puts roots on, they pull it up, stick it in a pot, and sell it. And yes, and that happens in about 4 days.
Really?
It happens very quickly.
But they like the cooler temperatures.
in those climates. But yes, the ornamental corn or Dracaenas, they love those cool temperatures. You know, in this between 60 and 70. They do really well in that, and the low light. They just are a great one for that.
Because in the wintertime, though, some of these houseplants, people who have wood stoves,
right,
the air can really get dry and
right,
get quite warm at times.
Yes, and so for those kinds of conditions, you would need to make some adjustments. Of course, things like palms, lots of light and some dry air would be perfect for that in warm temperatures. But you'd want to stay away from things like ferns and some of the bigger leafed things like the pothos, and those they need to have a little bit more humidity.
All right, we got a couple minutes left, so give us a quick call and ask a question and get your name in that. Who knows? Could be you that wins this beautiful mum here, and the number is 776-5368. If you have any questions for Tim, 776-5368. Anything going on in the vegetable garden?
Well, finishing up a lot of the harvesting right now, and looking at recipes for green tomatoes. as the temperature's cool, there's still plenty of ripening time though. So don't pick all your tomatoes right away. Give them some time; they will ripen, but really cut back on the water on those. You shouldn't really be doing much watering at all on your tomatoes, and that'll help get them to ripen better for you. But you can start to put in things like lettuces and cole crops like cabbage and broccoli. The spinach and chard, those can go in. And getting close to onion time, you can actually do some onions over the winter and get them in the ground now, and they'll go all winter long, and then you would be a spring harvest on those.
All right. Is it strawberries only good for a year?
No. Strawberries will go year after year.
They will?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
They prune them back or what?
Well, I like to do that in season. So on the strawberries,
you get the little,
when
runners.
the new runners come out,
Yeah.
I like to keep those trimmed off because then they produce better strawberries. But every so often, about every 3 to 4 years, you want to let those grow and produce new plants, because those mother plants are going to kind of reduce their bearing. They won't bear nearly as heavily. So you'll be able to pull those out and get those new fresh ones growing.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, Priscilla. What's going on?
Hi, we just wonder if there's any tip about leaving your plants when you're going away for a while, rather than just leave them dry out outside in pots, or you move them around or overwater them, or what would you do to get ready to leave them for a while?
For a while, do you mean for a few days or for weeks?
A few weeks.
Weeks, okay. And indoor plants or outdoor?
These are outdoor.
Okay.
You sound like a snowbird. Are you a snowbird?
No, we're just taking a trip.
Okay.
Yes, what you can do is take your container plants and put them in the lawn or on the edges of the lawn. And if you put them on the edges of the lawn, just kind of adjust your lawn sprinklers so that they hit them. And then that works perfectly. Right. Or if you can't really make adjustments to your sprinklers, just put them on in a wheelbarrow or something out on the lawn and let the lawn sprinklers take care of them.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
And the hanging ones you probably put down on the lawn too.
Yeah, and expect if you're going to be gone for a couple of weeks, if you put them on the lawn, you're going to end up with some brown spots in the lawn. But that's easy to fix too.
Okay. Well, we'll put them in conspicuous places. Inconspicuous.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Priscilla.
That help. Bye-bye.
Now, what about watering this time of the year?
Well, of course, we're cutting back. In the nursery, we've cut back to about 3/4 of what we've normally been watering. And that seems to be working really well. I did cut the lawns back, especially at home. I think we cut back halfway on the lawns. Trees and shrubs and things I've cut back at home. I've cut back to quarter to half, right in there. Maybe I'm watering about 35% of what I normally water.
Okay. And how often are you watering?
I try to do it every other day on the trees and shrubs. Really depends on your soil. If you've got a heavy soil, probably a little less often than that. But my soil, it drains very, very quickly, and so I got to put that water on a little more often.
All right. We do have some names here. I'm going to let you reach in the basket and pull one out. And this is for the winner of the mum that you see there. And the winner is?
And the winner is today Jim.
Jim,
yep. He was the one who was going to take a chainsaw to the pampas grass.
Well, there you go, Jim. You just got yourself some points by bringing home this beautiful mum. All right, now, what are the other mums out there? I mean, are there ones with bigger or smaller?
Yeah, the mums come in lots of different sizes and colors and shapes. And this, of course, is a florist mum, so this one is grown for indoors. You can grow it outdoors, but you'd want to put it out outside, after it's done blooming. You don't want to do it now because it would damage it. But they come in a myriad of different types, from little tiny button type flowers up to great big ones we call spider flowers, where the flower petals are kind of long and stringy, right, and really interesting.
And how long will they bloom? Will they bloom through Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah.
Okay, in the pot.
In the pot, yes.
All right. Now, the pansies.
Right.
Can they be planted where there's no sunlight?
Ooh. If there is no direct light, yes, but it's got to have enough indirect light to keep them blooming. Otherwise, they just don't really do so well. But,
okay. I'm thinking
really
like on the north side of the house or something like that.
North side of the house is fine, but if it was north side of the house under an eave or an overhang, maybe not going to work really well.
All right.
So
but
get some plastic flowers for that.
Now, will they keep blooming? I mean, even when the flower comes off, they'll produce another one?
Yes. Yeah, the pansies will keep going all winter.
All winter, so we don't have to water them?
Nope.
What do we do with the hanging baskets for those of us who have a few left over? And I know you're still watering.
When you're done with
What a season. You've had a great season, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. It's been a beautiful season for the baskets. But when you're done with them or they're done with you or whatever, then what you do with them is you, if they're larger baskets, then you bring them back down to the nursery and put your order in for next year.
Really?
Yes. So, and if you are doing your own, then compost them and prepare for what you want to do for next year.
All right. So, but they still can go a little longer.
They'll go a little longer, but yeah, as soon as you're done with them, then they're really not good to keep and try to get going for next year.
Yeah.
I get a few people that do that every year, but what happens is that root system gets too big in those containers. Doesn't work really well. So they're better. They make really good compost.
All right. And one other thing now, in planting seed, grass seed, any particular kind, does it matter this time of year?
Yeah, it does matter. As far as timing goes, this is a good time to plant any grass seed. But if, choose your grass seed for your area. If you've got low amounts of water to use the Water Warden. It's a very drought-tolerant grass seed mix. If you've got regular sprinklers and decent amount of water, you can put in the Sun Mix that we carry that is a perennial rye blend, and it's a little finer, a little softer bladed grass, but it's definitely needs to be watered on a regular basis through summer.
Right. So this is only going to have a growing season of how long before the grass kind of goes dormant? So if we put a seed in and it germinates and pops up and then it freezes, we're still going to be okay?
Yeah, it'll be fine. If you put the seed down and we suddenly get turned cold and it stays frozen before it comes up, it still will as soon as the weather warms. So the seed will just lay dormant until it comes up. It will take any kind of winter we have here. Right. So that's not a problem. But goodness, we've got 6 weeks, so you should have a decent lawn.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a great weekend. You too have a great weekend. Enjoy all the fall colors and the fall weather. And Jim, congratulations, buddy. You got yourself a mum right there from the Four Seasons Nursery. We'll see you on Monday.